Hello, my name's Rebecca. Welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking all about Pontil marks. So to begin with, I'm going to tell you what a Pontil is, just in case you don't know. So a Pontil mark can be found on hand-blown glass, and it's a mark or a scar that is left where the Pontil or rod is snapped away from the base of that glass. I am going to show you some examples as we move through the video. Where the Pontil snaps off from the glass, it does leave an irregular mark or a circle-shaped mark on the base of the glass. There are different types of Pontil marks and Pontil scars. So you've got open or broken Pontil marks, a pipe Pontil, sand Pontil, polished Pontil, and a push-up base or a kick-up base or a shove-up base. So an open or a broken Pontil mark. This is where the rod is snapped off and the Pontil is left unfinished. If you were to run your finger over this type of Pontil, it would feel rough and it would feel sharp. I don't have any of these type of Pontils to show you at the moment, but as my collection grows, I am hoping to incorporate that into my videos, so I can give you an example of that a little bit later on down the line. A pipe Pontil mark is a small mark on the base. Sand Pontil marks. So this will cover a large area of the base of the glass. So the glass will still be on the rod at this point and the sand will be pressed onto the glass. This will leave a texture that will feel rough, a little bit like sandpaper. This is a method to try and hide the Pontil or smooth it out a little bit. This leaves a wide Pontil rather than a smaller Pontil. Once the sand has been applied, you'll see a circle area where that sand has been applied, and that will be the Pontil area. If you do run your finger over it, it will feel rough. It is very much like sandpaper. A polished Pontil. This is a manufacturing technique where the Pontil on the base is polished smooth. The Pontil will be completely smoothed out, it will be completely polished out, and the whole of the base will look smooth. I'm going to show you what I mean with this. So I've got a couple of examples. Lighting conditions aren't the best here, so I am going to switch in a moment and show you under a better light. So this is a Pontil. So this is a piece of hand-blown glass. The Pontil mark is just there, as you can see. It would have been snapped away, and this area here has been polished out, so it's completely smooth. I've also got a paperweight, so sometimes you can't see this little bit of a mark. Sometimes you won't be able to see anything because it's been polished completely. And I'm going to show you with this piece of glass. So this is a Wedgwood piece of glass. It is lead crystal. It's a lead crystal paperweight. It is beautiful. It's part of my collection. It has been stamped on the bottom, so we've got the maker's mark. But this is completely smooth on the bottom there. So you can see it's smooth. You've got the maker's mark. So they've stamped that on after, but it's completely smooth and you can't see anything. I've got a vintage Royal Briley lead crystal drinking glass to show you as well. Again, the lighting condition isn't the best, so I'm going to show you under a better light in a moment. But this is smoothed out, so the Pontil mark, if I get the light to hit it. So the Pontil would have been there, it would have been snapped off, and they've polished the foot of this really smooth. I'm going to show you in a different light. You probably get the point of what I'm trying to demonstrate. I'm going to show you the polished Pontils of these three items. So this item is a hand-blown piece of glass. So this is the Pontil, and as you can see, it's smooth. This bit here, that swirl that you can see, that's where the Pontil would have been broken off. And what they've done is smooth the entire base of this to get it smooth. This is a lead crystal Wedgwood paperweight. As you can see, the maker's mark is there, just there. It's quite clear on this one. And when the light hits it, you can see how polished and smooth the base of that is. This is a Royal Briley lead crystal drinking glass. So up close as the light hits it, that mark there in the middle, if you can just make it out, is where the rod would have been snapped off, and the Pontil is completely smooth, so when the light hits it, you can see that. We've also got the maker's stamp just there. Star Pontils are a technique to hide the broken Pontil mark on hand-blown glass. It is very decorative and it looks very pretty, and you will see them on lead crystal bowls that have been hand blown. You might see them on the base of decanters. You might see them on the base of drinking glasses as well. Not all hand blown glasses have a star Pontil, but a lot of them do. This is a lead crystal drinking glass by Tudor, and it is stunning. The lighting condition doesn't do it justice, but I'm going to move into a better room with lighting in a moment. So this is the star. You can see it is hand cut. I'll be very surprised if you've never seen this type of Pontil before, because it's a very, very common method. You can tell it's hand cut as well, and I'll talk about that in a bit more detail in a moment. But that's a nice little Tudor drinking glass, lead crystal, and it is stunning. Another star Pontil I'm going to show you is on a decanter. So this is like a whiskey type decanter, and this is lead crystal, and it's extremely heavy. I bought this for about £2 from a charity shop. It is beautiful. It really is stunning. Now, I'm not talking too much about the decanter itself in this video. I have got a decanter video that's going to be coming out in the next few weeks. So if you are interested, do subscribe, because I've got a lot of glass videos that I'm going to be uploading in the next few weeks. I do upload videos every Monday at 8 PM if you're interested. So this is the base of the decanter, and that's a star Pontil as well. This would have been hand blown, and to hide that Pontil mark, they've used this star design, and they've hand cut this star into the base. It also adds a bit of decoration as well, which I think is beautiful. I think it adds a nice little touch to these glasses as well. But I'm going to show you the base of this decanter, and I'm going to show you the base of this drinking glass so you can see it up close for yourself. So this is a hand blown lead crystal glass with a star Pontil. You can just about make out the maker's mark there, the stamp there. And you can also see the star on the base of this, and it's to cover the Pontil. So the Pontil would have been there, it's snapped off, and they have now created this beautiful star shape. Now this star shape is hand cut, and you can tell that just by the length of each of these lines that have been cut into the glass. If it's been cut by hand, these lines won't be the same size, because anything by hand will have those imperfections in them. If it's by a machine, it's going to look perfect. And this is absolutely stunning. So it's a lovely star on the foot of this glass. Push-up base. What is a push-up base? Now, this can also be known as a shove-up base or a kick-up base, or it might even be known as a pressed-in base. So this is a technique that's used where the rod is pushed into the base and it pushes the glass up. So that glass is still warm at the time. It's hand blown, the glass is still warm, and they can still manipulate that glass. So the rod is pushed up and it creates a shape. I don't have any examples of this, unfortunately, but I'm going to show you a hand-drawn picture. It's as close as I'm going to get to it. Now, this was used on wine bottles for a variety of different reasons. It reduces the interior volume of the bottle, and it was used for its strength enhancing ability and stability as well. So it helps to keep an even base, and the rough Pontil mark, it helps it to keep it away from the table. I'm just going to demonstrate with this. So this hasn't got a push-up Pontil, it hasn't got a kick-up base, but if you think that that's lying flat on the table, that's quite a flat surface. However, older wine bottles, vintage and antique wine bottles, with the way they're manufactured, so the rod goes here and they push the Pontil in and snap the rod off. Now it does create that stability so it can sit flat. It's very strong, it's very durable. It's to stop it from wobbling on the table. If they left it as it is, the rough Pontil would be here and it would cause instability. It would wobble and it wouldn't be very stable. So they use the kick-up base to keep that Pontil mark off the table. It also helps as a way of keeping that rough Pontil off the table to scratch the surface as well. Although this isn't a kick-up base, I do appreciate it's not a very good example. I'll be very surprised if you've not seen this type of wine bottle, because they are quite fashionable and manufacturers have kept that in just as a design, as a fashion statement these days for the way the bottle's designed. But I'm going to show you a picture of what I mean with this. It's not going to be the best drawing, but it's just to demonstrate what I mean. So this is my drawing of a bottle with a push-up base. The drawing isn't the best, but hopefully you get the point of what I'm trying to make with this. So we've got the neck of the bottle, we've got the bottle itself. This is the base of the bottle here, as you can see. So what they do is the rod will be here. So instead of it being a flat base, they put pressure on the rod and it goes in like that. There's a lot of wine glasses that you see like this, and a lot of the time now it is more fashionable and it's more of a trend for a wine bottle to be like that. But this is just how they used to design it. So the Pontil, the rough Pontil would be here, and it prevents it from being unstable on the table, and it prevents it from scratching the table as well. I've added to the drawing to try and make it clearer for you. So we've got the rod here, and this circle bit here at the top, that's the Pontil. So the rod will snap off here and it'll create a rough Pontil. So it'll be quite rough, it'll be quite sharp. Then they'll snap the rod away and it'll be left with that bit there, but with the circle as well, which is the Pontil. When it sits on the table, say that's the table, it prevents it from being wobbly on the table, and it prevents it from scratching the table as well. T mark. So these are earlier gadgets that were used during the process of making antique and vintage glassware. I'm just going to demonstrate with this with what I mean. So a clip would have been placed on the foot of the glass. So 2 clips here to flip the glass over. And on some older pieces of glass, especially antique glass, you might find some dimples in the glass. You can't on this one, but there might be some indents where those clips were placed. Then when that glass is flipped over, they'll use a gadget to break that Pontil off from the base of the glass, from the foot of the glass. And sometimes it left a T-shaped mark on the glass, and it is exactly like a T-shaped mark, but you can identify antique glass with that as well. Sometimes it can leave a Y shape as well. So if you see a T shape or a Y shape on the base of a glass, it can indicate age to it. Now, this was a technique that was used in the glass manufacturing process after 1800, and following on from that, methods and techniques in the glass blowing industry and the glass making industry did start to develop as well. So there were different types of Pontils, hence the broken Pontil, the sand Pontil, polished Pontil, stars. Things did advance as well in the glass trade. Numbers in Pontils. So this is normally commonly found in decanters. I am going to be doing a video in a bit more detail on this, but I'm just going to show you an example of what I mean. Decanters can have a number etched onto the base of them, and this number will also be engraved onto the stopper as well. It will be exactly the same number, and it shows that that stopper does fit that decanter. If the numbers match, it does mean that that stopper and the bottle were made together. So this is the decanter I was talking about earlier on in the video, and I'm going to show you what I mean with the number. So this one is a number 13, which I will show you close up in a moment. But the number on the stopper, it can be smaller than that. It could be on the edge here. The decanters themselves, it might be in one of these pieces here where it's been cut. It might be on the rim there. It could be anywhere else. It's usually discreet, but if those numbers match up, then it does mean that those items were made together. This is a stopper to the decanter I was talking about. So here on the base of the stopper, you can see the number 13 just there. That ties up with the number on this decanter, and this is the way you can tell whether these pieces do go together. Sometimes over the years, decanters can chip, the neck of the decanter can chip, or the stopper itself can chip and get damaged, and sometimes they are replaced. But to make sure that it is the exact piece of glass that you've got, this number here will match up with the number on your decanter. Now this decanter, the number to this is on the inside where the stopper sits. This is sometimes another place you might find the number. So as you can see, they are both number 13. And they fit in quite nicely together. Having an understanding and a basic knowledge of the glass making process and Pontil marks can really help you identify and age a piece of glass, especially if you've got a piece of glass you're not too sure of. Rough Pontils were used in the 17th and 18th century. Smooth Pontils were used in the early 19th century onwards. And if you find a glass with no Pontil, it was made in the beginning of the 20th century. Thank you for joining me on this video. If you have enjoyed it, please press the like button and do consider subscribing if it is something that you're interested in. I do have weekly videos coming out every Monday at 8 p.m. So hopefully I'll see you next week for another video talking all about glass.